Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. As always, your host with the most, Ghost. We got your questions today, guys. Thank you all for sending in your questions. If you didn't get a chance to send in your questions, we can continue this on, guys. Comment down below if you have any more questions, and we will continue the Q&As as long as you guys continue to send in your questions. So thank you for sending in your questions. I got about 15 to 20 questions for you today. Take some time and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I don't know if I'll do any reviews tonight, but TLC's tomorrow. We'll probably review that Monday, and then we'll get on a regular schedule. I still got to review this, Judgment Day 98. I already watched it, already did all my notes, so let's get right into the Q&A, guys. Starting out with DJ Taz 316. Very good subscriber, and the cat wants to play right now. My favorite pay-per-view of all time, we're going to have to go back to 2001, and I got to call it a tie on this one between No Way Out 2001 and The King of the Ring from 2001. Those are two of my favorite pay-per-views to go back and watch, between the 2 out of 3 falls match with Stone Cold and Triple H, and the street fight between Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle. Those are two pay-per-views that I have watched countless times, and very good shows overall. If you guys haven't watched those two, I highly recommend them. And then DJ Taz also wants to know my least favorite pay-per-view, my favorite TV show, and who I think the greatest of all time would be. So a couple of my least favorite pay-per-views go, Judgment Day from 2003, the whole Triple H, Kevin Nash feud. I really never got into that Kevin Nash coming back there in 2003. SummerSlam 93, again, another really crappy pay-per-view. Luger with the yay, Luger wins by count out. He never won the title. That's a really crappy way to end a show, and I'll save that other one for a later question. Favorite TV show: The Simpsons and The Big Bang Theory. Two shows that, the Big Bang Theory, I just recently got into about 3 or 4 years ago. Went back, watched all the older episodes, and it's a show I love to this day. The greatest of all time, you can argue several different guys. My personal pick is going to be Ric Flair. Being the traveling champion back in the mid to late 80s is, something that you can never, replicate in today's world. Going from territory to territory, being the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Ric Flair was definitely the man in the NWA. That's not a dig at Hogan, but Hogan's dates were definitely limited. He didn't appear on TV too much. And, when the WWE did shows, they were like only WrestleMania. They did a couple wrestling classics and the big events, thing like that. But, Hogan wasn't known for going like 60 minutes a night and things like that like Ric Flair was. So my pick goes to Ric Flair as the greatest of all time. Brianna Davis, thank you for sending in your question. How many WWE shirts do I own? only one, and that's the Macho Man shirt that came with the collector's pack here. Brian H., if you could watch one pay-per-view year of WWE, what would it be? I'm going to go to 2002 on that one. Very solid year in WWE. And again, it's one of my favorites to go back and watch. SummerSlam from that year, Survivor Series, even the B-level shows like Vengeance, Judgment Day, the Backlash. We've seen the NWO return at No Way Out. We had Chris Jericho's run as Undisputed Champion. A lot of good stuff happening in 2002. Very solid shows throughout that year. Robert Matthews asks, when do you think Cena transitioned from the Doctor of Thugonomics to the Super Cena? This could probably be, pinpoint to one initial date, and I'm gonna try to go like the 2005 draft when Cena went from SmackDown to Raw. You quickly seen Cena stop wearing the throwback jerseys, the baseball and basketball hats, and he quickly had his own merch, his own gear, his own wristbands. So I would say that 2005 is when he would transition into the Super Cena character. Very, very good question there, Robert. Moser123. My favorite WWE year. My favorite year is 2000. I know that year gets a lot of crap from people, but it has one of my favorite WrestleManias. It has an awesome Royal Rumble. Very good SummerSlam, in my opinion. The first ever TLC match. We had the rise of Kurt Angle. We had The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everything was going on in the year 2000. Chris Jericho versus Chris Benoit. The Radicals. Very, very good year. I really wish the WWE, when they released that DVD a while back, the best of 2000s, I really thought this was going to be a clip show from like the year 2000, like with stuff from pay-per-views, Raws and SmackDowns. I was not expecting what they did with that DVD. Joseph DeFeo asks, the best and the worst WWE DVD. As for the best goes, you can point to a couple here. My opinion would be the Stone Cold Steve Austin, bottom line on the most popular superstar of all time. This DVD is packed with some of Stone Cold Steve Austin's greatest matches and moments, a full-length biography. I would go to the CM Punk DVD and the rise and fall of ECW. I'm sure you could throw a couple other ones in there, but those are just a couple. As for the worst goes, oh man, I'm not a worst guy. I like to look at things on the brighter side of things most times, but Signature Sounds, the John Morrison DVD. Let's see if I can look at a couple. The DX One Last Stand DVD. Oh man, that's a harder one to pick, but Click Rules, that was an awful DVD. I guess I'll go with Click Rules just because it's more recent. Edward Underhill, another good friend of mine on YouTube here. Just go subscribe to Edward Underhill if you guys haven't already. WWE Hall of Famer or who would you pick to headline the Hall of Fame in 2018? I'm going to pick Batista here. I know his name's been tossed around a couple of times. I think Batista would be a good sellout for New Orleans, and it would kind of bring the thing full circle from WrestleMania 30 to this year's. Will I ever do a room tour? No. Point being, like, there's really nothing here. I got my TV, my bed, and my dresser, and that's pretty much it. You guys see my DVDs. This is my, wrestling area, and that's it. I used to have a lot of posters and stuff on the wall, but when you have small cats, they want to climb and scratch, and, things got ruined, so I had to pull them down. Do I have any Mattel figures besides the Stone Cold defining moments? No. I got a lot of older figures from like 98, 99, 2000 era. I do have a video on that. I'm thinking about doing, redoing that video. I got the Hogan NWO figure. I got some Mr. McMahon figure. I got a Triple H DX figure. I got a Big Show, a Bam Bam Bigelow, a Billy Kidman, a Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Macho Man when he was in the NWO. I got a lot of cool figures, so I might end up doing that figure video. What was my original inspiration to start YouTube? It was around WrestleMania 30. I had already been, getting the idea to, really start doing videos. I'd been watching a lot of guys on YouTube, and it was, the Warrior's death that, put my first video up on YouTube. And shortly thereafter, I made Undertakers, last matches video, and then I did my figures video, which is still up here. I removed the Warrior video because I really wasn't satisfied with the quality of it, and there's a couple others, but it was really a long time coming with collecting the DVDs, and then just pushing myself to finally getting it done. Bucket list WWE DVDs. Definitely the Royal Rumble anthology. That is a must-have, and, it's one I always look around for. You can't really find it too cheap, but, the Royal Rumble is, one of my favorite pay-per-views, and that anthology is just beautiful. Last couple of questions here. The DVD Freak, another very good friend of mine here on YouTube. Go check him out. What event pissed you off the most? This is another tough one because, wrestling doesn't really get me mad anymore, but I think we'll have to go back to the Royal Rumble of 2014. And, that's another one of my least favorite pay-per-views. Batista coming in and, kind of stealing the spotlight away from Daniel Bryan. That really pissed me off. Batista just coming in at like number 26, 28 or whatever it was, winning the Rumble, going to WrestleMania, and I'm really glad he didn't win the title at that WrestleMania because, the fans immediately crapped on him, and another one of my pay-per-views that pissed me off is WrestleMania 29, which I still don't have on DVD. The Rock vs. Cena 1 was tolerable, but doing it twice in a lifetime for the WWE Championship, I mean, come on. I don't think that was even a good match. To headline WrestleMania 2 years in a row, come on now. Who should have ended the streak? I mean, that's not really up to me to decide. But I think it should have been a guy like Roman Reigns. You look at where Roman Reigns is at today. headlining the past 3 or 4 WrestleManias, Roman Reigns definitely should have ended the streak. Looking back on it now, it was a mistake for Brock to end it. It was a great moment, but I think they ended it prematurely. They definitely had a lot of money left on the table with that one. My least favorite year in WWE. I think we're going to go back to 1995. Kevin Nash, Diesel, whatever you want to call him, Big Daddy Too Sweet. Not a fan of 95 whatsoever. The Rumble wasn't the best that year. You could argue WrestleMania 11 as being one of the worst of all time. SummerSlam 95 with Diesel and Mabel in the main event. Just some awful pay-per-view main events in that one. And last question here goes to Morgan Carolan. A lot of people shit on 2006 in WWE. What do you think of 2006 in WWE? I think it was awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely going to agree with you on this one. 2006 was an awesome year. When I wasn't watching at the point in time of 2006, I wouldn't get into WWE until almost a year or two later, almost 2008. So I missed a lot of 2006, pretty much all of it. And, I really wish I would have continued watching into 2006, seeing Edge win the WWE title, seeing, him and Cena battled it out pay-per-view after pay-per-view. Edge was one of my favorites growing up, and, seeing him winning the WWE title is something, I really wish I could have seen live. Going back and seeing, the storylines with God and Shawn Michaels and the McMahons, that's something I'm glad I missed, but, there was a lot of good stuff in 06. Rey Mysterio, growing up as a kid, I loved Rey Mysterio. He is so talented, and he was so underused by WWE. Yeah, they gave him the world title, but I'm not talking about titles and championships. You look at Rey coming in 2002, and I definitely think Rey was mishandled in his first year or two with the WWE. But 2006, a great WrestleMania. We had the rise of DX, or the rebirth of DX. So there was a lot of good stuff going on in 2006. Rated RKO, a very good team. I love watching the tag match with DX and Edge and Orton. Randy Orton was one of my favorites in 2003, 2004, and seeing him get to that level again, very good stuff. The RVD title run in 2006 was cut short due to a little puff, but I really wish I could have seen that One Night Stand pay-per-view live, because that's one of my favorites to go back and watch. So hope you guys enjoyed this little Q&A. Thank you everyone for sending in your questions. If you guys want to continue these Q&As, feel free to ask some more questions, and we'll see how this goes again. Take some time and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace!